Hi, this is Amir from Novisync. In this video, I'm trying to very briefly explain about VDI and VMware VDI. First, let's talk about history of computing and desktop computers. Computing started with centralized computing when we had a big mainframe to process the tasks that was driven from connected terminals. You can see them here. This is a really simple figure of centralized computing. Then, after that era, we had distributed computing era, as you can see in this picture. When huge numbers of developers and manufacturers showed up in computing world, the prices for hardware and software decreased. Then organizations started to work with standalone computers, but still we had slow and unreliable networks. Then, with better networks, server-based computing took the place in organizations. They provided inherent portability, ease of software upgrades, and powerful user management. But still, they have other problems like device driver incompatibilities, performance tolerance, scheduling limitations like multi-threading problems, and also problems with upgrading. You can see them in these pictures. In the middle of the pictures, we have the server, and all clients are connected to the server, and they're sending their jobs, and they're using the server processor. After this, VDI showed up, virtual desktop infrastructure. VDI effectively resolved, uh, let's see the picture here. VDI effectively resolved terminal server problems and brings together the benefits of centralized and distributed computing. Uh, if I can mention one of the benefits, for example, in the server-based computing, I can say we had data security, reduce hardware expenditures a lot in the server-based computer. We had easier management, mobile workforce, resource pooling. And also I can mention benefits in distributed computing like end user isolation, and we improve in the performance by that isolation. Um, but when new VDI showed up, the benefits for desktop management was huge. Uh, I can mention some of them. For example, number one, performance and stability. Number two, opportunity to redesign the desktops. Number three, no downtime maintenance. Number four, integrated server and desktop management platform. Number five, business continuity benefits. Number six, licensing benefits. Number seven, granular performance control. And number eight, elimination of multiple N plus one computing silo. And last one, number nine, the options for application management. Also, side by side with those all benefits that I mentioned, I can say VDI is a great cost saving. For example, number one, hardware provisioning logistics. Because they cost a lot for the companies. And If I want to just name them, hardware maintenance, hardware durations, less downtime, system performance, and application management is all those things that save a lot of money for the organizations. Also, VDI was still uh, these great business drivers for many organizations, especially for the organization who looking for outsourcing, extending PC life cycle, and pandemic planning, unifying IT strategy, and performance-driven VDI, also enterprise desktop replacement. All these organizations that they're looking for this kind of stuff, the VDI is the best solution for them. Now, it's time to talk about VDI architecture components and related products. Um, as we know, we need some client access devices. On a PC running Microsoft Windows, users can initiate a remote session to a VDI resource using the bundled remote desktop client, and also thin client devices such as voice terminals have many advantages as access devices, including reducing cost, stateless configuration, and simplified management. After we had the client access devices, we can focus on architecture and components we still look at. So here is a big list of our components and related products. I'm going to explain very briefly about them. Okay, I'm going to name these four layers as secure access. The layers of client endpoint validation, multi-factor authentication, layer 7 connection proxy, and also SSL VPN gateway. In the PCs outside the company firewall, and SSL or IPsec VPN may be required to avoid exposure of multiple mapped IP addresses on the external firewall. And to improve security for VDI session, without an SSL VPN, RDP is so vulnerable to attacks like man in the middle. There are some sort of spoofing attacks. The most famous one is the man in the middle. That an SSL VPN can prevent using these kind of attacks. Companies providing access only to internal parties may not need an SSL aggregation point, a DMZ, or demilitarized zone. So the products I can name is AEP Networks, Proper Workspace for VMware, Provision Network, Virtual Access Suite, and 3SP SSL Explorer. As you can see all of them here. The other things in the layer 7 connection proxy, we just have one product like client endpoint validation. Companies may wish to restrict VDI access to PCs that meet specific requirements such as an updated antivirus, anti-spyware, or patch levels. Another company might want to terminate the TCP connection in the DMZ and have the SSL aggregator proxy the RDP session. I remember when I wanted to log in first time to my university network, they checked for my updated antivirus and also my updated operating system at that time. They were using AEP, Attila Security Platform. Right now, I'm going to these layers, the connection broker. I'm going to call connection broker basic workflow results and custom provisioning workflow with advanced scripting, all of them as a connection uh, brokering. So in connection provisioning, providing users their own virtual desktop and ensuring they always reconnect to the same machine might be the best design for smaller scale VDI implementations. For larger VDI implementation, a connection broker is necessary to avoid tying up memory and CPU resources when users are not using their virtual desktops. Connection broker can suspend and resume virtual desktops or provision new desktop based on policies and workflows. It's great. Connection brokers also make API calls to VMware Virtual Center and ESX server systems to perform their core function. In this layer, I can name products like, as you can see, Dunes Technologies, a proper workspace for VMware and provision network virtual access seal. It's time to talk about virtual machine root management. The need for each user operating system to have its own hard drives comes from days where off-network usage was the norm and slow networks. Virtual desktops reside in the data center with gigabyte Ethernet connection, booting virtual machines over the network using the virtual machine network interface cards built-in PXE boot feature is a smart way to share single boot image across large number of virtual desktops. For example, the deployment of 5,000 users each with a 5 gigabyte Windows XP boot disk would consume 25 terabytes of shared storage. That's huge. A shared image strategy saves on storage and provides a single location to patch and deploy applications. Patching or modifying shared boot images is easy and change propagate to virtual desktops the next time they boot. Uh, Products enabling this Lex VDI desktop includes Ardens and also Linux terminal server project. Uh, this time, if I want to make it more simple, I'm going to explain about the seamless desktop integration and application visualization and streaming. Uh, they are not that much same, but I'm going to talk about them in very briefly. So, the growth of distributed computing brought the challenges of management to the forefront of the IT agenda. The needs of distributed computing shaped their early management toolsets. Each node on the network was a standalone resource silo. Each node needed its personality maintained separately. Server-based computing allowed for a more consolidated approach, but brought new management challenges related to the performance, network stability, and software compatibility. Recently, streaming technologies such as Microsoft SoftRecipe, AppStream, and others have introduced a unified management approach that simplifies application lifecycle challenges in a way that can benefit both distributed and server computing models. As the products I named, also we can have Altruis, SPS, Upstream, and Stream Theory. Okay, let's talk about the last one, data caching. Or I can say that turbocharging performance with data caching. CPU advanced have followed Moore's law for many years now, roughly doubling in speed every 18 months. Newer technologies have gained ground almost as quickly. In sharp contrast, hard drives have taken over 10 years to double in speed. This widening gap in performance makes the rational and seek time latency of hard drive the biggest performance bottleneck in modern computers. Caching and RAM disk tools address this gap by moving data close to operating systems. I can name uh, products like DataCore, SuperSpeed, and Ardent, and Linux Terminal Server Project, and also I can say some alternative cache design like block cache, boot partition caching, and application partition caching. Okay, right now we have an overview of uh, home VDI architecture and the platforms and products that are right now available in this field. So, if I think if we talk about the scenario and real use cases can help us to understand better. Okay, we have scenario one. Uh, let's talk about scenario one. A company wants to provide secure desktops to 500 developers outside the country. Offshore developers will access their virtual desktop through the internet. Developer PCs will be considered non-trusted and must qualify to access the virtual desktop by passing a series of tests that include checking antivirus versions, Windows updates, and Windows firewall setting. Each user will have their own desktop mapped one-to-one and will need the ability to rest their virtual desktop through a web interface. The company also wants a custom provisioning workflow for new desktops that includes Active Directory account creation, provisioning of virtual desktops, deploying application software using an existing distribution tool, and finally, notification of the project manager by email when the new developer's desktop is ready for use. Developers over 220 milliseconds of latency in their WAN connections and require the most responsive desktop possible to offset this performance handicap. Right now, we have the problems and requirements. Let's see how we can solve this one with the VDI solution. So the solution is the need for SSL VPN aggregation together with client integrity checking uh, makes AEP's NSP security appliance an excellent choice. Connection broker functions are minimal since virtual desktop are not pooled. Requirements for complex provisioning workflows suggest that DNS VSO would be a good choice. The combination of AEP's NSP appliance for access infrastructure and DNS VSO for powerful workflow customization make uh, This is a capable and secure VDI solution. Installation of developer application on a cached partition improves performance and also helping offset band latency. You can see all those things in this diagram. Now, let's talk about scenario number 2. In scenario number 2, a software and service company has support contracts worldwide for a variety of companies. Supported platforms includes mainframe, x86, Unix, and Novel. Technicians across multiple time zones need to access supported company network with a common access infrastructure from their homes or offices using an internet-based VPN solution. Each technician has multiple virtual desktops that connect back to different company networks together with terminal server session, typically 32/7 sessions, and some Windows 2000 and Windows XP desktops. They are a little old, but they still exist. Technicians also need to access their own personal desktops using VDI. The company is looking for a single vendor solution that meets all the requirements in a secure and elegant manner. That's the requirements for the scenario 2. Okay, let's talk about the solution. The solution is the diversity of the application platforms combined with connection brokering functions, SSL VPN, and connectivity to outside network through a common access infrastructure makes proper workspace for VMware product an excellent choice. In a single product, it provides seamless support for a wide range of platforms, major SSL VPN, and the ability to tunnel into other networks using SOCKS protocol. Proper supports Windows 2000 desktop using Danvers NetApp remote access products. These wide range features and flexibility set it apart as a good choice for this huge environment, as you can see in this diagram. At the end, if you want to know more about all these VDI things, I'm strongly suggesting you to start reading VDI strategies published by VMware. You can find that in the VMware website. And I hope in this video I made an overview about the VDI and architecture and the products and some really simple scenarios that VDI can be a best solution for them. Thank you very much. It was Amir from Navi Sings. Bye.